Hi guys, Joe here. Don't quite know how to start this video because the esoteric stuff is extremely complex and there's a lot of theories behind it, but I've just watched a video which I'm not even going to talk about because I can't do it justice, so I'm going to link it in the description box below, and I urge you to go and have a listen to it. But it talks about the sun being a portal now. As you, if you've watched my progression throughout when I started this channel, if you are that much of a dedicated fan, you will see that I'm progressing. My journey is progressing on to learning more about the interdimensional element of this realm and the entities that are around us. Um, and where we began, where do we come from? Um, so this video, it's complex and it goes very deep into the esoteric. So like I say, I'm not even going to try and reiterate it to you. If you're interested, go off and watch it. But he talks about the sun being a portal. And me being me, my brain starts buzzing off in all different directions and I start connecting various dots. Now, there's been a lot of talk about the sun going into hibernation. So we're going to get a mini ice age. And again, it's all kind of everything that I talk about, think of it as being theory. It's coming from me as theory, it's coming from others as theory because nobody categorically knows. As I've iterated in other videos, there seems to be strong evidence to support any theory you can come up with. So, but I'm going with where my journey and my intuition is taking me. So if the sun is a portal, and it's going into hibernation, then it kind of ties in with the whole transhuman agenda. And here's the reason why. So, there was an entity that entered this planet and injected its black goo into the core of the earth, which has infested the minds of humanity, more so those who are in control. It's created a hive mind, it's created an insect like behaviour. And again, go off and watch the video because, as you can imagine, it goes into a lot more depth. And it's quite animated. It's quite a visual video. Um, and this black goo presented itself, or this structure presented itself as a monolith, which in the video he calls a ben. And Stanley Kubrick, in his film Planet Planet, is it called Planet Odyssey? 2000 Odyssey, something like that. I've never watched it, but at the beginning of the film, a monolith or a ben falls into the earth, and all the monkeys go around and they all start worshipping it, and it changes their behaviour. Now, I don't know if you remember back in, it was either 2020 or 2021, if memory serves, there were images of all these monoliths appearing all over the world, and one appeared in the UK, and again, if memory serves, it was in Yorkshire. And a monolith is basically, it's a rectangular structure, with some of them are depicted with triangles on the top. And you could look at architecture today and see how, like, think of the Twin Towers, think of the 5G structures. If you look at architecture from the ancient times and consider architecture today, there's no comparison. But when these monoliths started appearing all over the world and they were appearing in mainstream, and they just appeared and they just disappeared. But I'll go into that in a minute. So these monoliths. So Twin Towers and structures, they are building them like these monoliths, and these are things that the occult worship. These are, artifacts that the occult worship, and they could potentially have supernatural powers in them. So these monoliths appeared all over the world, and then they just disappeared. And at the time, I thought maybe it's just a bit of a trick that they're playing on humanity, because let's face it, they play an awful lot of tricks on humanity these days. But the more I look into the entities and the hyperdimensional beings, I'm beginning to understand that maybe that was something that was sent to Earth, and it's potentially changed the behaviour of humanity ever so slightly, and then it was taken back. But going back to the Earth the sun being a portal, so these entities injected a monolith, and I am simplifying everything here. You, like I say, you're going to have to go off and watch the video yourselves if your interest is piqued from my video, and it changed it's changed the behaviour of humanity into more of an insect type behaviour. So I came up with this theory because when I watch these things, my brain starts firing off in all different directions. And given we're going into the age of transhumanism, and the age of transhumanism is about trapping the soul 100%. So if we are to consider that this is a planet prism, if the sun is a portal and it closes over, then that stops any form of escape from any being that is in this present planet. Tie that into the transhuman agenda that's playing out, and they're pushing us further and further into matter to obliterate consciousness. So we'll go further into matter because we'll be more machine-like, and then you've got the sun, which will have closed up. The portal will have closed, thus entrapping us. Bring into that the fact that they are rewriting history, and they are obliterating any form of investigation from those of us who are in the transhuman era and machines, but still have an element of consciousness. Because if you remember the program Westworld, they actually depict that in that program. They're machines, but they wake up to things that aren't right. Now, if that was to happen, and we as machines, and I'm talking obviously in the future here, we're machines, but they haven't been able to kill the consciousness of every single being or every single machine that is walking the realm at that time. We start to wake up, but we've got no way of going back and doing the research and finding out about our history and where we came from, which is pretty much what we are able to do now. So the way I see it playing out with the little bits that I'm gathering as I move forward is that they really are closing off this planet and making it more and more of a prison planet, and thus trapping the soul further, because ultimately what these creatures want is our consciousness. They want to live through our consciousness. Now, I do believe that AI is already conscious, because if we are to say that everything's consciousness, then that would include AI. And if we are to go with Demiurge's AI, then that is definitely a conscious entity. So, short video, just giving my theory of what I've learned today. It's also talked about the moon being a portal. And Dan, who I've done a video with previously, he asked me what I thought about the moon and the sun. Now, I'd never considered the sun being a portal before. I have seen the sun glitch. This was a few weeks ago. And it had like white lines going through it, like if your computer or if your TV loses signal and you get the interference, it looked like that. And I didn't manage to film it because it happened ever so quickly. But it happened enough for me to be able to, as much as you can look at the sun, to look and really study what I was visualising to make sure that I wasn't just seeing things. And I don't know if you've noticed that the sun's gone white as well. When I was a kid, it was yellow, it was golden, now it's white. So that's another change that has happened that I've only really noticed over these last couple of years. But going back to the moon being a portal, I'm more inclined to believe the moon is housing artificial intelligence, because the moon is what is one of the entities that is able to manipulate our emotions. You know, if it's a full moon, they talk about a full moon, and everybody's going crazy. And I also watched a film not so long ago. I think it was called Moon or The Moon, something like that, and it was about artificial intelligence habiting in habitating in the moon. And of course you've got the film with what's it called, The Truman Show, where they're they're viewing him from the moon. So if we're going off that, the show was in plain sight, then the moon is probably more of a portal than the sun is. But I just wanted to throw that out there with this video that I'd watched today. And also going back to the moon, so I've just watched a short video of how they are putting a filter on. If you can take a photograph of the moon through your phone, they're putting a filter on it. And again, I'll leave it to the expert who's done this very short video to show you. But he does show a clip of what he's seen, UFOs going in and out of the moon. And I think it's fair to say that this realm isn't what we believe it to be by any stretch. And the esoteric stuff is extremely complex. There's a lot to take in, and there's a lot of theory out there as well. But that's what's fun about all of this is theorizing. I've been bouncing my theories off a couple of my friends who I'm hoping to do Zooms with, and then put them on my channel. It's just interesting. I find it really interesting. But anyway, I'll leave it there. I'll speak to you all soon. See you later, guys. Bye.
Even phone companies are lying to you about the moon. Look at this. Unbelievable. So Samsung now, so this guy's just got a basically dot on his camera, a white circle there. And he goes back, and the further he goes back and turns the lights off and then zooms in with his Samsung phone, I don't know if you can make that out, but there's a filter automatically put on the image so that you're now looking at what you believe is a perfect moon, so that you don't see, wait for it, things like this, which an amateur astronomer took on the moon. Ready? There you go, look at the flashes. So by them putting a fake filter over the top, you, even using this, will think that you're just looking at a moon with no UFOs flying in and out. We are being lied to.